Hey there, my wedding planning friends, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, thanks so much for clicking on my video. I'm Emily Summer. I'm a wedding planner based in Montana, and I make weekly videos on wedding planning tips and advice. It is that time of year again. We are getting ready to head to New York for New York Bridal Fashion Week and Bridal Market to pick out all of the new dresses from our designers' new collections. So I'm going to do my best to bring you along with me and give you a little glimpse into what it's like to go to New York Bridal Fashion Week as a buyer. We kicked off first night in New York with a amazing dinner at La Masseria, which is a little Italian restaurant right by Lou's place. It was such good, authentic Italian. We started with the burrata, which was so good, so fresh, and honestly, every single thing on this menu was so good. The gnocchi was to die for, same with the shrimp. It was such a great first night dinner. Hello, it is day one of New York Bridal Fashion Week. We are getting ready to head to the first show. Bring you along with me. One of my favorite parts about New York Bridal Fashion Week is just the amount of wedding dresses that are just all over the streets of New York. So Danley finally met me for my second show. She unfortunately wasn't there for the first show, so I don't have any footage of that because I was busy taking content to be able to refer back to and choosing the dresses. Our first stop was a necessary bagel stop to grab some food before the next show, which was an appointment at Untamed Petals where we picked out all kinds of new accessories for the store.
Look at these outfits. Not even on purpose, but I feel coordinated.
Very cohesive.
And we're going, this will be my first show because I missed the first, but
Correct.
Yours second.
My technically third, but second.
Well, I guess,
First
but the other one wasn't really like as many.
It wasn't a show.
Yeah,
it was an accessories meeting. Some good stuff coming. We're headed to Waters now, which is the W2 and Willoughby lines, as well as the Bywaters, which is like reception and bridal occasion style dresses. So really excited to see what we've got in store for that one.
Montana Brides, follow. What's the official Instagram handle?
Velvet Bride.
Velvet Bride, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like the Velvet Bride or no underscores.
Nope, all one word.
Velvet Bride. Everybody follow.
Oh, Emily. Yeah, I knew it. I am guest.
I am guest.
Always.
You'll love her. So this is just done with the organza is stitched on the edges, so it behaves like.
We saw so many great dresses in the water show. Both W2 and Willoughby had so many gowns that I'm so excited to bring to Montana. Another thing that we noticed in a lot of the shows is the return of strapless dresses. A lot of the shows we had to, a lot of the designers had a lot of strapless dress options. This was one of my absolute favorites, just a satin strapless. So that's something to be expecting in new collections, is the return of strapless dresses. Getting ready for day 2 of Bridal Fashion Week. Yesterday was Antonio Gual, Untamed Petals, and the water shows, so W2 and Willoughby, and they were all so great. So many dresses I'm already so excited to bring to Montana. Definitely gonna have some hard decisions to make when this is all said and done. Today we are headed to Thea first this morning, and then Made with Love later this afternoon. The first show of the day was at Thea, and what I love about being able to go to the Thea shows in New York is that we actually get to go to the Thea showroom, which is based in New York City, so it's not like a pop-up show. We actually get to go into their showroom. Dresses are always lined up along the windows. I just love being in this space so much.
Yeah, no, this is so fun. The dress is done in our classic Thea stretch drink.
I love it.
So this is the second dress in that large scale organza cutout. It started as a high-low idea and it sort of like evolved into this transparent slip. And then we had a really hard time but a fun time working on this applique on the back. Low on the back, but just in a Swiss dot. She's super girly, super cute, I fell in love with this dress. So I saw this pink look was the whole fantasy by the whole collection. So I wanted this vintage blush, like head to toe. The blush veil with the embroidery, and then this, like, you don't see pink satin very often.
No.
So we added these piping contour details, and then because I live in reality, we also did it in ivory. Super boring, but I think it's, even when you take all the color away, it's
After Thea, we hopped on the subway and made our way over for the Made with Love show.
We're going to the next show. We took a little pit stop at Lou's, ate a little snack, downloaded footage, and now we're going to our next show. And then shower, get ready, change, celebrate Andreas' birthday.
Attending New York Bridal Fashion Week is always so much fun for me because I do have some friends in the city. So we had a birthday dinner at Ton, which is a pretty new restaurant, and it's Tulum inspired. So it really feels like you're in Tulum, Mexico when eating inside the restaurant. Everything was so good here, from the guacamole to the ceviche. Oh, it was to die for. We kind of just let the boys order and choose what sounded good, so I honestly don't even remember what this dish was. That's a bean sauce they're pouring over, and it was so good. And of course, no birthday dinner is complete without birthday cake for the birthday boy, Andreas.
Danny's struggling. It's our final day, day 3. The music is so fitting.
After a bit of a slow morning, we made our way to day 3. We went to One Fine Day Bridal Market, which is where we saw the Maddie Lane and Serene bridal collections. Now, unfortunately, these collections have not been launched to the public yet, so I can't really show you too many of these gowns, but there were so many great ones we saw from both Maddie Lane and Serene Bridal.
I love, like, I don't know, like shadows and stuff. Like, very aesthetic. Yes, very aesthetic. Look at, here we are. We're here, we're done. We're lounging in the sun. I wish we had a rooftop.
Could find one. After a nap.
Spoiler alert, we in fact did not find a rooftop. We both napped and caught up on some work and then topped off our final night with some great sushi and mochi. All right, Bridal Fashion Week is over. We are back in the shop. It was such an amazing and whirlwind of a 4-day trip, as it usually is. I have to say, this was my 3rd official New York Bridal Market trip. This was probably my favorite market so far. I felt like every designer had such great designs, and this is the one that I left every single show so excited about. Nearly every single dress they showed me, which now comes the hard part of trying to decide which ones to actually bring into the store to bring our Montana brides. While it's very exciting to have so many great dresses as options, it makes my job extremely difficult. So just a little recap. Day 1 was Antonio Gual. That was our very first show at Bridal Market. Saw a lot of really great dresses there. At this moment in time, I still don't know exactly which ones I'm going to bring on, but a lot of really great, high quality, like classic styles through them that I'm really excited about. We went to Untamed Petals and got a lot of jewelry and accessories for the store that I'm really excited about. They have such great options when it comes to bridal accessories and kind of finishing your look. So really excited for some of the new pieces we will be having with them. And then the last show of the day was Waters, which is the W2 and Willoughby lines. I had gone into this show with a few dresses that I had seen images of that I knew I was probably interested in, and ended up leaving the show with so many more than that. There were just so many great dresses. Again, it's going to be extremely difficult to narrow it down. But that being said, I'm so excited about every single dress that I do bring on through the Waters lines, and I think that all of our Montana brides will be too. And then day 2 was Thea and Made with Love. Thea was a great show as always. I love going to their showroom and being able to actually be in the space that they kind of work and have their showroom at to see all the dresses. Again, a lot of really great classic, more simple styles. They have really high quality fabrics. I love all of their satin gowns and the new stretch satin that they came out with. I guess it was maybe 2 seasons ago. It's been very popular with our brides. It's a super soft and comfortable material. So I was really excited to see more gowns in that same material, as well as some fabrics that we haven't seen from Thea before. So there'll be a couple new guys there that will be joining our store. And then we went over to Made with Love later that afternoon, which this was maybe my favorite experience of Bridal Fashion Week this year, as far as the show itself, not even like dresses aside. They put on such a great show. They rented a space that was so beautifully put together and decorated, greeted with champagne upon arrival, and the designers and the owners of the company were right there sitting right next to me the whole show, so that was really cool. And an actual orchestrated runway show, which when you go to Bridal Market, as a buyer, it's a different experience than regular Fashion Week, and while a lot of the top designers do have a little bit more of a runway style show, it's not as much of a production for a lot of the designers as it is when you go to kind of just like the basic Fashion Week. So it was really fun to have that experience and have a full-on catwalk runway show to music and beautifully decorated. Love that aspect of it, and they had, I think, 5 new collections in total. It's going to be really hard to determine which ones I'm going to bring onto the store. All were fantastic dresses, so keep an eye out for which ones we bring into Velvet Bride, but there are some great new Made with Love dresses. And then to wrap it up, day 3 was the Maddie Lane and Serene bridal shows, which were a part of the One Fine Day market. Again, they do such a great job of decorating and making the space feel really special and nice when you walk in. These bridal markets, the water show was the same way, where they're in kind of like an expo style, so you go into a building that has dozens of designers all in one space, and they all have their separate little section and their own little fashion show happening within one big room, if that makes sense. They're executed so well, so it's so nice to be able to have multiple shows in one space and not have to be gallivanting around the entire city to hit a bunch of shows in a lot of different locations. So I love that. Melange de Blanc was the one that we did on the first day, which had Antonio Gual, Untamed Petals, and the Waters lines all within it in that same building. So it's super convenient for the first day, which was the longest day, to have everything in one space, and then same with the One Fine Day bridal market. And like I mentioned in the video earlier, the collections for Maddie Lane and Serene haven't been released to the public yet, so I couldn't really show too much of the dresses for that one. I gave you little snippets of them, but there are, that's probably the show I left with the longest list of dresses that I wanted to acquire with. So that still needs to be narrowed down, but I'm telling you, every dress in that show was a hit from both lines, from both Maddie Lane and the Serene bridal line. So many amazing dresses that are going to be making their way into Velvet Bride in the coming months. As far as trends we saw this year, number one, I noticed a large increase in the strapless gowns, which I kind of mentioned already, but pretty much every designer had a pretty large selection of strapless styles in their new collection. And for a while, we were kind of staying away from this. A lot of brides were saying that they wanted to stay away from strapless, or were kind of put off from strapless for whatever reason. A lot of times, even brides that say that do end up going with a strapless dress, just because it is very flattering on a lot of different body types. And it also has this sense that feels very bridal when you have a strapless gown. So we're seeing an increase in that, but with some kind of unique necklines. So obviously the Sweetheart strapless is kind of what has been classic and traditional when it comes to a strapless wedding dress, and we did see some of that, but we're seeing a lot of more straight across necklines in a strapless, and more rounded, like kind of coming up and rounded necklines. And then a somewhat newer trend that we saw last season as well is the kind of cat eye strapless. So that's essentially where it kind of comes to a peak on the edge, so it gives a little bit of a modern twist to kind of a classic style. So we saw a lot of dresses that had that kind of cat eye neckline. Also a lot of gowns with slits. Slits are not going anywhere. Lots of slits in kind of every style of dress, whether it's an A-line, flowy, or a fitted style. Satin, saw a lot of satin still. I love the satin trend that has really come on in the last few years pretty strongly. That's not going anywhere, so a lot of very great classic satin styles. Still seeing some floral applique and floral elements to dresses, however, not as much compared to the last couple of years. So that's something that it's never gonna go completely away, but we are seeing a little bit less of those large floral appliques all over the dresses. Whereas I feel like my first bridal market, that was a huge trend, and everywhere we went, there was always a pretty large selection of gowns that had big, large floral prints, appliques, laces, whatever it was. That was the big trend. So seeing that kind of dip away a little bit and having the rise of more classic kind of traditional elements coming back onto the scene. That being said, if you want to see what collections we end up bringing on to Velvet Bride, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Velvet Bride, where I will share all of the dresses as they come in so that you can see which ones we chose as our new designs. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe to get weekly videos on wedding planning tips and advice, and we'll see you next week.